Warning: this article contains spoilers for 1923 Season 2, Episode 4. Zane's Brian Girardi, brain surgery in 1923 Season 2 has to be the most gruesome and wild thing in the entire Yellowstone franchise. After 5 seasons of the original show and 3 seasons of Yellowstone spin-off series, the Yellowstone franchise has had some very dark and disturbing moments. From Sarah Atwood's Dawn Olivieri, sudden death in Yellowstone to Alexandra's Julia Schlattfer, beating in 1923, Taylor Sheridan has shown audiences some truly wild scenes. He took it to another level in 1923 Season 2, however, and I've seen it all now. In 1923 Season 2, Episode 4, Zane Davis had to have brain surgery. He was beaten to within an inch of his life at the end of 1923 Season 1, and Dr. Miller, Mark Denary, determined that he had a brain bleed that needed to be released. Unfortunately, since Zane had been ignored while in the hospital, his brain surgery had to be done with only chloroform as anesthesia. That set the stage for a truly stomach-churning moment, and 1923 took the cake for the most disturbing scene in the entire Yellowstone franchise. Simply put, Zane's brain surgery in 1923 Season 2, Episode 4 was the most disturbing thing in all of Yellowstone. From the way Jack, Darren Mann, and Jacob, Harrison Ford, had to hold Zane's head steady with pieces of wood to the visceral and realistic image of Dr. Miller drilling into his skull, the whole ordeal was uncomfortable. When Zane woke up and started letting out a blood-curdling scream, however, 1923 turned into a torture horror movie for a scene. It felt more like the Saw franchise than a Western TV show, and it was incredibly tense and stressful just to watch. It's not exactly uncommon for Yellowstone and its spin-offs to include brutal scenes filled with gore and viscera, and it's not even that surprising for 1923. In 1923 Season 1, Sister Mary's Jennifer L. entire story centered around torturing Tina Rainwater, Amina Neves, in increasingly sick and twisted ways. Even in 1923 Season 2, we saw Elizabeth, Michelle Randolph, attacked by a rabid wolf and watched Marshall Kent, Jamie McShane, run down a Comanche child with his horse. Zane's brain surgery, however, is likely still the most disturbing scene in the Yellowstone franchise because 1923 shows every gory detail and really let the audience feel Zane's pain. Even though Zane's brain surgery was gruesome and incredibly taxing, it looks like he's going to make a miraculous recovery in 1923 Season 2. Literally minutes after the hole in his skull was bandaged, Zane was upright, talking, and even walking, albeit somewhat unsteadily. Instead of months of bed rest, Zane looks like he may be ready to get back on the horse and start fighting Donald Whitfield, Timothy Dalton, within a handful of episodes. The hole in Zane's skull was just put there, yet he's already excited about the prospect of fighting the war that's been brewing in 1923 Season 2.